Ladies and gentlemen, señores y señoras, mesdames et messieurs, welcome to our fifth match of the European Nations Cup. Today we have Spain against France. For our referees, the center referee, Niels Christian Simonsen, the assistant referee, Mika Wallsten, the second assistant referee, Robbie Bourne, the fourth official, Rémi Simon. And for Spain, with number 10, the captain, Samuel Grau Garcia. Number 7, Raduan Bohabund. With number 5, Aaron Tarrablo Sanchez. With number 9, Francisco Guerrero Velasco. With number 12, Marcos Garcia Trives. Number 19, Arturo Fabra Reina. Number 64, Francisco Perez Espinosa. And the head coach, Jan Grau Garcia. And his assistants, Francisco Javier Belda Ramon, Susana Sanchez Trujillo, Manuel del Rey Arjona, and the team manager, Joaquin Bettinelli. And for France, with number 10, the captain, Mohamed Gelami. Number 4, Erwan Kong. Number 5, Morgan Lifand. Number 8, Brian Wyss. Number 9, Aurélien Filantre. Number 11, Youssef Ayad Zadam. Number 12, Tristan Lebeyer. Number 28, Jonathan Detrier. And the head coach, David Verger. And his assistants, Thierry Deschamps, Guillaume Grand, Guillaume Perzen, and the team manager, Aurélien van der Berg. Here we go, guys. Get ready. I'm heading over to the guys at the streaming. Ryan and Greg, thank you very much. See you later.
Next up in Group A, it is Spain against France, a meeting of the debutantes and the reigning world champions. France's opening game against Northern Ireland gave us a real glimpse of the firepower they have across their squad. Aurélien Filatre was clinical, showing the kind of composure we've seen so many times before. Momo Galame added to that firepower up top with some goals late on, underlying his status as one of the world's top players. And even though he didn't get on the score sheet, Brian Weiss was a constant threat. His control, his passing range, and his ability to dictate the tempo make him just as dangerous. What stood out, though, was the depth of options for France, and they had to call upon them. It didn't go all their own way in that opener. Northern Ireland did take the lead, and it did need David Verge to look to his tactics and set up to reverse the scoreline. But even when they were frustrated in that first half, they managed to overcome it and find their form. For Spain, this is another step into uncharted territory. They are making their major tournament debut, and for many of these players, it's the first taste of the very highest level. But they are not here just to make up the numbers. They have ambition, they have a dream, and they want to book their spot to next year's World Cup. Led by captain Samuel Grau Garcia, who plays his domestic football in France with AS Saint-Étienne. They'll look to lean on his experience of competing against players of this calibre, and his leadership could prove invaluable as Spain test themselves against one of the strongest sides in the world. You can see those squads on your screen. To go through the starting four, Spain have Aaron Tarrablo Sanchez, Francisco Guerrero Velasco, Samuel Grau Garcia, and Marcos Garcia Trives. And France have Brian Weiss, Aurélien Filatre, captain Momo Galame, and Tristan Lebelair.
The phrase David versus Goliath comes to mind here, Ryan. For Spain, what a baptism of fire this is. Major tournament debut, and your first game is against the world champions. This is what they would have wanted. You know, they're here to test themselves against the best, to see where they stack up, where their development is. They know they are perhaps not quite at the level of France, but they will say, look, we've got nothing to lose. Everyone here expects us possibly to lose and lose heavily. We are going to play with some pride, some passion, and show what Spanish power chair football is all about. And I cannot wait to see how they approach this one. For France, an opportunity to maybe brush off some more cobwebs from their opening game last night. There were question marks in that first half. Some were definitely answered in the second. We'll see if they persist with trying to play Brian and Momo in a 1-2 pivot combination.
Certainly looks as if they're shaping up to do that, with Brian Weiss adorning that yellow goalkeeper top. If you're tuning in to watch France for the first time, we've been highlighting a stat of their clinicalness when referencing the group stage of major competitions. Now, if we encapsulate the last 5 majors, which is the 2014 EPFA Nations Cup in Limerick, the 2019 EPFA Nations Cup in Finland, the 2017 World Cup in Florida, the 2023 World Cup in Sydney, and of course the Nations Cup here in Italy. France have played 25. They have won 25. They have now scored 195 and conceded just 6.
It's not a bad record, is it? You know, it's not a bad record at all. And it just highlights how dominant they have been. You know, you think how many games they would have lost at all, taking out the group stage, just in those tournaments in general. When they've won the last 2 World Cups, they've only lost, what, 1 game in the final to England in Finland 6 years ago. Just complete and utter dominance for a side that plays such beautiful football at times. They will see this as an opportunity to perhaps try some things with the greatest of respect to Spain and see what works and what doesn't, iron out any kinks they may have. And like I said, it's a free hit for Spain. Absolute an opportunity that they will be relishing, no doubt.
England have set the benchmark for quality and consistency. They were 6-0 victors over Scotland in the game prior to this. They looked impenetrable, fluent, and France will be looking to match that here. Spain, as we have said, I don't think there's a great deal of expectation. They will enjoy this experience, but if we're referencing the EPFA Cup 2022, where they earned their ticket to the Nations Cup, they finished 4th in that 8-team competition, above the likes of Italy, who we've seen come and really impress on this stage. We will see how they've developed over the last 2 or 3 years. And I think it's fair to say no one's expecting them to get a great deal out of this game against France, but that statement could probably be applied to any nation on the planet, so that is in no way a disrespect to them and their players.
I mean, it certainly would have been said perhaps about Northern Ireland before kick-off yesterday, and look what happened there. Half-time is 1-0. So anything can happen in football. We know that. Yes, you can take form and take what you think you know about teams, but one moment of magic or one mistake and the unexpected can happen.
Spain eager and out, ready to start the game. France just in a huddle in the top right-hand corner. Interestingly, Samuel Gro Garcia looks as if he's shaping up to play on the left wing. Aurelien Filatre is going to want to continue his fine form in attack. Our central official, Niels Christian Simonson, gets the thumbs up from Brian Weiss and Aaron Terraro Sanchez, the respective goalkeepers of France and Spain. And Momo Galame gets us underway. Immediate press from Gro Garcia. Pens France back momentarily. Fantastic support in the venue. I hope that translates over the streams as Filatre fires it down that line. Thumbs up from Tristan Lebelair. He appreciates the effort, he just didn't have the pace to catch up to the ball.
Good start. There's only 30 seconds. Pressing the French goalkeeper Brian Weiss, not allowing him to have the space to pick a pass out as Lebelair fires one, blocked on the line. Flag up.
Yeah, really interesting there from Samuel Gro Garcia, just completely disregarded the confines of that goalkeeper area. And this is the problem with, I'm not quite sure who's playing that central role. If that is the responsibility of the captain, he would be the one getting back and defending. But there was a slight confusion with Francisco Velasco, and Tristan Lebelair has an opportunity, indirect of course, into Momo Galame, guided goal bound, cleared by Velasco, and sensibly let to roll out of play by Samuel Gro Garcia. I want to see if Tristan Lebelair can find a little bit more sharpness in this game. Was in some fantastic positions in the first game against Northern Ireland, as Brian Weiss has to be very careful there. We almost saw a carbon copy replica of Bartek Koszkowski's opener, playing that high press, that high line, and those rotated spin kicks. You're momentarily blindsided by the players around you. So it was good work from Gro Garcia, but they have to be careful, France.
There's no doubt that France have the players to play four out. This system of using the goalkeeper, as Momo Galame fires one to Tristan Lebelair. Filatre lets it run, takes a deflection. We'll go to play for a corner. Yeah, there's no doubt they have the players to play four out. We've wanted to see Brian and Momo play as a 1-2 pivot, but they've got to have the discipline and the awareness to know when not to play a 180 spin. Filatre across. Lebelair, shot just past.
That was that tendency to be slightly forced from Lebelair, and it is so there. But can I just say, that passage of play leading up to that corner ball was absolutely sensational. Yeah, I think it went via every player on the court. So yeah, as you said, they can play the four-out system, but they're perhaps not as proficient as we've seen England to be. And no options there, because Filatre is locked in that top left-hand corner. Again, it's slightly forced. You should look, have the vision, the awareness to know no one is there to receive it. Maybe he was looking to play off a Spanish bumper.
I like that from Spain. They've got out well, and now they're on the attack here. Brian Weiss just softly fakes the spin. I thought that might let that go out for a kick in, but wants to take the battle to Brian Weiss. It's brave, but he's just getting dragged up the court hard. Brian Weiss was desperate for the advantage there because he just got past. Francis there, just wanted.
I have to say, I'm impressed with the organisation of Spain so far. As long as they can really get that shared understanding as to the role of that central player. Of course, it's a long game. France will have opportunities. They will have chances to inflict damage. I want to see signs of relative success for Spain. as Gro Garcia swipes it into the centre. Marcus Trives isn't there to receive and just bounces the ball off Lebele. Lovely dummy that from Momo Galami, lined up short, slightly out of the passing range of Filatre. Beautiful feint shape to pass it to Filatre, back to Momo Galame. They're putting some really nice combinations forward now. Weiss takes the pace off of it, and now Filatre with a chance at goal. Tristan Lebele, that is a fantastic finish from France. I said I wanted to see Lebele be more sharp, and he has exhibited exactly there. Fantastic stuff from the world champions.
When they get it right playing 4 out, it's a joy to watch. What a goal this is. They have carved Spain open there. Back to front, recycled it a couple of times. The ball across from Filatre is perfect, and it's a clinical finish from Lebele. Filatre now, another ball across, it's excellent. Lebele, deflection, and they've doubled their lead in as many minutes.
Yeah, quick fire double from Tristan Lebele. Wasn't able to get on the score sheet yesterday, but already after 5.5 minutes, he has a brace. Do not underestimate the role that Aurélien Filatre has played in both goals there. His distribution has been fantastic. We often are drawn towards praising the likes of Momo Galame and Brian Weiss. They typically take the headlines because how they are so world class. But this is a squad packed to the brim with quality, and Filatre and Lebele do not look out of place with two of the best players that have ever graced a power chair football court. Momo Galame into Aram Traore Sanchez. Gro Garcia trying to clear the danger.
Galami, the two number 10s, going at each other here. Galami's going to flick it across perhaps to Filatre. The front bumper just wide of that post, and tell you what, got to be careful not to go off the back of the pitch there if you're not the goalkeeper. They're going to make some early changes here, Spain.
Yeah, Radwan Boujaboud coming on in place of Samuel Gro Garcia, and also Francisco Velasco has come off in his place. Arturo Reina, certainly having watched Radwan Boujaboud before, a very defensively minded player, so they're probably looking to shore things up. It will, of course, impact any potential attacks or breaks, but they were few and far between anyway, so I suspect they're looking to just shore up their defence and minimise goal damage.
Radwan Boujaboud scored one of the best goals I've ever seen. We played against Spain last year in the development squad in a training game. We got one of the best finishes all the way around 180 into the far corner. It was sensational. He's got one heck of a hit on him.
That he certainly has. I have been impressed when I've watched him. Be looking to impart some of that quality here, but it's going to be a monumental ask. 8 minutes gone. Spain 0, France 2. Lebele all the way back to Brian Weiss. Beautiful passing play. They've expanded the court to the full 18-metre width, and they're turning on the style here. Pick off from Aurélien Filatre. Momo Galame swipes to shoot. Not before a 2-on-1 is awarded for Spain. A slight let-off there. Have to watch it back. I think Aurélien Filatre had cleared the space quick enough. Yeah, I wouldn't have given a 2-on-1 for that, but we've seen some officials hailing from different countries are a lot stricter than others. Feint from Brian Weiss into Momo Galame. Filatre doesn't make contact, tries to have another snap at it. Tarabo Sanchez there to block. Brian Weiss Guillaume. Nice passing play. Beautiful combinations. Brian Weiss follows it up. That would have been his first goal of the competition. And what a goal it would have been.
Unfortunately, I don't think it would have stood because of 2-on-1's been given. But that move was fluid, crisp. That was four-out football at its very best from France. When they get it right, it is exceptional. When they get it wrong, there are question marks. Guillaume fakes the flick this time, drives at that Spain goal line, has Filatra down the line. Fires it instead towards Brian Weiss. Oh, chance there for Reina.
Arturo Reina, just a swing and a miss. Seems to be chasing shadows at present. Brian Weiss, you can see the intent, but too much pace for him to catch up to the ball. And we're going to observe our first water break of the game. A chance for Spain to readjust. But you have to say, some of the football that France are playing, it is a joy to watch. It's a joy to commentate on. And they are going to really challenge to regain the title of European champions.
Without a doubt, like I said, when they play 4-out and they get it right, wow. Yes, we have to remember the level of the opponent they are playing, again with the greatest respect to Spain. But there you can see the movement and they're just carving the space up with ease when they get it right. But like I said, when they get it wrong and they're adjusting to the positions they've got to be in, when teams put them under more pressure, I'll be interested to see how they react and if they stick with it. Because in the opening couple of minutes especially, it didn't quite look quite as comfortable when Spain were pressing. But now they've got 2 goals up, they seem to have relaxed. They're enjoying it. The football is flowing and it's doing the talking for them.
Absolutely, it is. I wonder if they'll look to put some valuable minutes into their wider squad. Currently on the bench, Owen Conk, Morgan Lefont, Youssef Ayadzadam and Jonathan Detrier. Spain have already experimented. They've already trialled different setups. Probably unable to see it on your screens, but Samuel Gro Garcia now adorning a green goalkeeper jersey. I thought it was a strange decision to take him off. He's arguably their best player, the highest quality caliber player they have amongst their ranks. But he looks as if he's going to come back on and maybe be a pivot or a pairing with Radwan Boujaboud. That will certainly be fairly assured defensively. Aurelien Filatra attempts an effort. That's really unfortunate. Very little Aaron Terraro Sanchez could have done to prevent it. Just didn't angle his chair quick enough to guide it out of danger. 12.5 minutes gone. Spain 0, France 3.
Yeah, just the angle that Sanchez was coming across there. Always going to come off the front bumper and head towards his own goal. Another goal for France as Filatra hunts for another. Reina can bring it away. Met by Brian Weiss. Got Guillaume in the middle in support. The ball stayed in. Lebelair down the line.
I don't think Marcus Garcia Trives has had a touch in the last 5-10 minutes. As I say that, he does well to just cut across the passing lanes of Filatra and Guillaume. But that's always the case when you're facing France. The high and wide winger who's up to present something of an attacking option can't come back because then the prevalence of 2-on-1s would be too great. It's Filatra into Tristan Lebelair looking for his hat-trick. Cleared out of danger by Radwan Boujaboud. Very strict rulings of the 2-on-1s being observed here this afternoon. Radwan Boujaboud into Arturo Reina. Lovely pass from Mohamed Guillaume into Filatra, over to Lebelair. That's his hat-trick. That's fantastic. France are incredible.
and now they're going to ring the changes, or at least make one, because they're 4 goals up. I mean, that is just a brilliant ball from Mohamed Ghalami. Filatra, his passes have been incredible. The power and the accuracy to get that all the way across to Lebele was sensational. Honestly, I think he's been my standout for France so far, which is incredible to say when they have Mohamed Ghalami and Brian Weiss. And we said at the beginning, we want more cutting edge, clinical from Lebele. That finish was exactly that.
Absolutely, it was. Tristan Lebele does come off in place of Yusuf Ayad Zadam. Can he replicate the form of his teammate in being a real threat on that right hand wing? Swing and a miss from Arturo Reina.
We'll try that again, Brian, shall we? Those 7 or so Spain fans in the stands making a lot of noise still. Filatro's, it seems as though he's dropping into the pivot role with Ghalami maybe moving out wide.
It's the perfect chance to experiment and test different players' abilities in varied positions when you've got a 4-goal cushion. This will just ground their foundation as the tournament rolls on, as Ghalami cushions it to Brian Weiss. It's just like a telepathic understanding between those two players. Yusuf Ayad Zadam needs to back off quickly. Not because I think he was too close, but we've seen the referee be really strict with his 2-on-1s. Unselfish from Momo Ghalami, an attempt from Yusuf Ayad Zadam. Taralbo Sanchez having real difficulty as he comes out his box. Surely has to be careful of that 2-on-1 placement.
Got Brian Weiss in support. Finds him. The 180 will go across to Ghalami, to the back post. Ayad Zadam. Saved by Sanchez. Still alive for France.
3 minutes remaining of this first half. Spain 0, France 4. Momo Ghalami always knows where the ball is. Lets it roll into that top corner. Draws Arturo Reina in. There's intent, there's purpose whenever Momo Ghalami has the ball. Filatra over to Brian Weiss. It's better from Marcos Trives. Despite the scoreline, it doesn't affect the support of the Spaniards as Momo Ghalami ricochets the ball goal bound. Once again, took a slight deflection off Aaron Taralbo Sanchez, but it will go down as a goal for the France captain. Spain 0, France 5.
You can see that one coming, couldn't you? They're being given space, France, and you can't do that. Mohamed Ghalami was clinical there. That'll be a 2-on-1 in favour of France, and they make the substitution. Samuel Grau Garcia coming back on, this time in that lime green goalkeeper jersey in place of Aaron Taralbo Sanchez. Brian Weiss with 60 seconds left of normal time in this first half. Ghalami has Zadam in that corner. Will he try and find the gap in the wall? He did. Zadam, not run for Brian Weiss. He's got to track back here. That is calmness personified. Zadam, oh, that front bumper just needed to be more angled, because if that had gone in from that move, it'd have been incredible. Ghalami.
Yeah, we've spoken about Le Belair needing to get up to the pace of the competition, get that sharpness up. The same can be applied for Youssef Ayadzadam, and an attempt for Marcus Trives, but Brian Weiss alert to the opportunity and restricts the Spain chance.
Looks like France are also going to change their goalkeeper. Whether they'll be able to do it before half-time remains to be seen. Reina. Brian Weiss leaves it for Ghalami. Filatra. Double ricochet between the Spanish defence, and they take each other out almost there. Garcia and Reina. Reina flicks it towards... Well, it was going towards the other side, but Brian Weiss cut it out, and it will be a corner. They will get to make that substitution now, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely they will. Featuring for the first time this competition, Jonathan Detrier comes on in place of Brian Weiss. I suspected that they would experiment, trial and change things up to ensure all of their players are as sharp as possible. Tristan Le Belair, the perfect case study for that. Needed a game under his belt to really hit his form, and with a hat-trick to his name, David Verge will want to ensure Youssef Ayadzadam and Detrier are up to the pace of the competition ahead of some really important games. Youssef Ayadzadam looking for Filatra. Detrier straight into the action, picking up where Brian Weiss left off, playing that brave four-out football. He will have to be considerate of his placement and positioning. As of yet, nothing to fault. A minute over the regulation 20.
Ghalami looking to add one more before the break. Has Filatra to his left-hand side, finds him. Little front bumper towards Adam, who had started to reverse to get on the initial pass from Filatra and go for a 180 perhaps. Front bumper from Mohamed Ghalami just took it away from him. The goal kick taken quickly, straight to Ghalami. Filatra, front bumper cross wasn't quite on. Reina can bring it away. Close to a 2-on-1 there.
Yeah, absolutely dominant first half from France. They go into the break 5-0 up. Tristan Le Belair has been the star of the show with a clinical hat-trick. Sharp, decisive and ruthless in front of goal. Aurelien Filatra pulled the strings brilliantly. His distribution in carving Spain open time and time again. He has been a standout. He also got himself on the score sheet. Mohamed Ghalami added another to complete the rout before half-time. Spain, making their major tournament debut, have simply been overwhelmed by the pace, precision and quality of the reigning world champions. France look every inch the favourites, and this is a real statement of intent. Join myself and Greg shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back for the second half. France leading Spain by 5 goals to nil after a relentless first half display. The big question now is what the approach will be from the world champions. Do they continue with this high intensity, ruthless attacking style to keep building confidence, or do they ease off slightly, experiment tactically and trial things that might be valuable when they face tougher opposition later in Group A? For Spain, as we've already touched on, this was always going to be a huge challenge as Radwan Boujaboud gets us underway. They wouldn't have expected much against France, but what is important is how they manage the rest of this game, limiting the damage, staying organised and making sure goal difference doesn't work against them when the group stage comes to a close.
Made a substitution. Have France in that vein. Off has gone the really impressive Aurélien Feletre. Morgan Lafont is on and on the ball. Beautiful 1-2s between him and Guillaume.
Yeah, people will be very familiar with the qualities of Morgan Lafont. Gro Garcia now as that goalkeeper. As Youssef Ayadzadam has a sight at goal. Radwan Boujaboud brilliantly across to restrict. But France picking up where they left off on the front foot.
It's a brilliant ball across from Lafont there. They're going to go all the way back here to Guillaume. Into Etienne. Lafont. Zadam. Deflected and out for another kick in.
Yes,
not before a 2-on-1 is given in favour of Spain.
Yeah, I want to give credit to Arturo Reina there. Very persistent, chasing everything down. Condensed the France attack. I think it's almost an impossible task to nullify the potent attack. It's really needless there from Radwan Boujaboud, and that's the easiest goal that France will score all game. Radwan Boujaboud just swiping at the ball needlessly from that free kick. And there to score was Morgan Lafont. Spain 0, France 6.
Yeah, it's just come from the mistake, isn't it? Really needlessly just swipes at the ball, falls to Zadam. Ball across was slightly fortunate. I think he was trying to shoot perhaps. Found his way across to the far post where Lafont could not have had an easier finish if he tried. That is handball. Samuel Grau Garcia has managed to punch it down into his bumper. That's one way to stop the French.
It's nice contact from Morgan Lafont, looking for that diagonal splitting ball out to Youssef Ayadzadam. At the time, he had the benefit of that really wide angle lens. And now a set ball to be contested between Arturo Reina and Mohamed Guillaume. A host of blue shirts waiting in support. France Spain very condensed. Have to be careful of them placements. Youssef Ayadzadam. Much better from Spain. Just strong from Arturo Reina to force it up the court. I'd love to have seen him just try and play that off of Ayadzadam's bumper and win Spain a corner. They're nothing if not passionate, the Spaniards, looking to fight for every ball, every second of possession. Guillaume into Morgan Lafont. Detrier doesn't quite have that same passing range as Brian Weiss, but that being said, very few players on the planet do, so France will have to be careful if and when they're going to want to utilise his skill set in that 4-out phase. Same again there, didn't find the pick-off. He does on that occasion. Yusuf Ayatadam just hesitates slightly. He angled and arced that reversing run, and it lost the momentum, and he was never able to catch it up. I know it's come back for that 2-on-1, but it was almost an odd transition.
You could see he was never going to get close to the ball because he was just reversing and arcing away from it. And that maybe David Verge has seen enough. Erwan Konk and Aurelien Filatra are ready to come on. We've seen Erwan Konk used on the wing in this tournament so far, as opposed to his more traditional goalkeeper position.
I really do appreciate this unpredictability. As commentators, it really keeps us guessing and ensures that we're keeping up to date with the different tactics that the 10 nations are adopting. But I love the fact that they're experimenting with Erwan Konk, and the fact that when the games are more competitive, they're utilising Brian Weiss and Momo Galame in that pivot. Just some of those goals and passages of play in the first 20 particularly, simply sensational. Coming off the back of that dominant England win as well, the two leading nations have left their mark. Momo Galame looks as if he is coming off. So if there is ever a chance to capitalise and score against France, it's when they do not feature Ryan Weiss or Momo Galame. You could easily add Le Belair to that as well.
Filatra's been so imperious. What would be the decision there? Play on for now.
No, I like that. I like that. It was a 50-50 coming together, as central as a connection can get. And for me, great officiating from Niels Christiansen Simonsen. But I want to echo what you said. Arguably, the standout of the competition thus far is Aurelien Filatre. Creative, goal scoring, and there again shows his distribution. I've had instances where I am the curse of the commentator, not on that occasion, as we prop him up to fire the ball over to Erwan Konk, who gets his competition under the way. Spain 0, France 7.
Brilliant ball again from Filatre, and a clinical front bumper finish right at the bottom corner from Erwan Konk, and Morgan Le Font front bumper. He's missed.
A whisker wide of that right-hand post. It was a lovely touch from Erwan Konk to just put it into the path of Morgan Le Font. But fortunately for Spain, it doesn't result in their 8th.
Goal was gaping. It seemed it was destined to end. Another goal for France. Some issue here perhaps for Erwan Konk. We need a captain on it. We need a captain for France. There was a lack of captain's armband.
That would certainly help. I did ask the question as to what France would do in this half, and how, if I was David Verge, I would certainly be looking to experiment tactically and trial things ahead of following meetings in Group A. They're still yet to play Germany or Belgium. Following this one, we have a huge game in Group B. The Republic of Ireland versus Denmark. Please join us for that one. But here we've got 12 or so minutes left between Spain and France. Blocked and out to Trives, or Arturo Reina, sorry. Detrier. Radwan Boujaboud.
Reina was given a sniff of an opportunity there. That's yeah, the Filatra, that is unbelievable.
Absolutely incredible. Stuttering, trying to get the words out, the compliments out, the superlatives out.
He stopped that dead. We've seen Brian Weiss do it a couple of times, but he has stopped that dead and then driven it forward. That is just incredible skill. I can't begin to explain how difficult that is.
Aurélien Filatre. Detrier, nice work from the France goalkeeper. Had he engaged that, it would have been an almost certain goal for Arturo Reina. Into Filatre. Nice distribution to Erwan Konk. You can see the intention, but Radwan Boujeboud well positioned to cut out the pass to Morgan Le Font. Erwan Konk resorts to driving forwards. Invites pressure from Samuel Gros Garcia. Nice combinations, but too condensed from France. Will give the Spanish defence a little bit of respite. We're going to observe a water break in a matter of seconds. I was going to explain that Spain have been better and more organised in this second half, but I think that's completely down to the way that France have experimented and taken some of their ruthless players off, as it just fired off of Francisco Velasco's chair into the path of Aurélien Filatre.
That's Le Font. 180 straight at Boujeboud.
The deception, the deftness of their touches is what makes France such a joy to watch. You think they're going to engage the ball one way and then they completely resort to strike it another. Keeps us guessing, keeps the players guessing. And that unpredictability as Erwan Konk just drives into the front of Samuel Gros Garcia. I definitely think that's a free kick for Spain. Very interesting decision. Whilst I'm all for contact being allowed and being more lenient, it comes back for a France free kick. Gros Garcia was not overly happy with the contact from Erwan Konk. Trying to understand the decision of Radwan Boujeboud being booked.
I think it's for multiple contact infringements. I think that's his third now as we observe the water break.
Yeah, tempers boiling over ever so slightly from Spain. But France dominant, as that scoreline suggests.
Spain will just try and see if they can get something out of this to give them some positives going into the rest of their tournament. They knew that this game was going to be difficult. They knew they were the underdogs. It's proven to be, as such, an incredibly difficult game when France are playing some of the football they are. Their fans have not stopped singing as we see the French with the funky chicken. Cockful, I should say. Cockful is the national emblem of France, but
it tends to make an appearance at any and all international tournaments. It's synonymous with the French power chair team, so it's great to see. We also had a huge Tyrannosaurus Rex surprise us on commentary earlier. Just while we're given this moment, once again, want to commend the efforts of our hosts, the Federazione Paralimpica Power Chair Sport, or FIPS. The Italians have provided the most perfect platform for the third iteration of the EPFA Nations Cup. You can probably gauge that on the screens, the quality of the cameras and the streams, but it extends well beyond what you see. The hotel, the accessibility, everything has been fantastic, and it's allowed the football to shine. And we are only on day 2 of 6. So still so much football to be played. And if you want further context to how much football, well, this is only game 5 of 29. We're in for a long week, Greg.
Yes, we are indeed. Apologies if you're already sick of the sound of our voices. You've got a lot more to listen to. Excellent pronunciation, Ryan. Anyone would think you're an 8th Italian.
It's all about rolling the R's. As Aurélien Filatre has responsibility of this free kick. Morgan Lifont in the box. Owen Conk well marked on the far side. Goes into the path of Marcos Trives.
Five minutes or so left in this game. France comfortably in the lead. They've rotated, they've given game time to players that maybe have not played as much. Spain have kept going to their credit.
Yeah, I can't fault it really from Spain, relatively speaking. No one or nothing can really prepare you for the abundance of talent and quality that the world champions have, and for that to be your debut at a major competition, it is really challenging. But they will take some confidence in the organisation and the improvement in the organisation as the game's gone on, and they'll look to be really competitive against the likes of Germany, Northern Ireland and Belgium.
Reina, who's gone off, I think he's covered every inch of this court. He has chased down every ball. He's been able to bring it clear. I've been very impressed with his effort in this game when it hasn't been going their way at all.
No, completely agree. As Lifont pushes it into the path of Erwan Kong, out from Marco Trives. Yeah, Francisco Perez Espinosa has come on, the number 64, as Kuro on the back of his chair. As Aurélien Filatre has probably featured for the last time this game. For me, the standout, not just in this game, but across France's campaign thus far, as Youssef Ayadzadam comes on in his place. Owen Conk down to the substitute, trying to squeeze that ball between Samuel Gros Garcia and Radwan Boujaboud. Unfortunately, just doesn't make contact at the second time of asking.
What I will say is I love the fact, right, Spain are playing in shorts and full socks. They've got full kit. It's lovely.
That was the case in Geneva back in 2022, where many of these players featured having the conversation with their captain Samuel Gros Garcia. He's developed significantly in the last few years. Now he plays his football out of Saint-Étienne in northern France, as Morgan Lifont beautifully finds the gap in the Spanish defence. Radwan Boujaboud there to clear, but the danger always present, irrelevant of the players France have on the court.
We mentioned it during the England game earlier, the level they can maintain when they make substitutions. For France, it is exactly the same. Their substitutes just carry on and maintain the level of football that the starting four do. 2-on-1 given in favour of France. Last couple of minutes or so, another free kick here. Another opportunity for France to maybe try a new routine, see something that maybe works.
We saw how proficient England were at the set pieces. France will want to ensure that that is sharpened within their arsenal. That will play for a France kick in.
That free kick there, see Morgan Lifont drove all the way around and then back to the halfway line and then just full charged it as he puts a beautiful ball across.
Always finds the gaps, doesn't he? And this is where I go back to the likes of Youssef Ayadzadam and others needing to get up to the pace of the game and competition as a whole. I would confidently say, had that been Aurélien Filatre or Tristan Lebelair on the alternate wing, it would have been France's 8th, simply because of the minutes, the sharpness that they've managed to accrue across the games thus far. Lefont into Detrier. Erwan Konk in a much more familiar position as the most defensive of the 4 French players. It's guided out of danger. Final 30 seconds. Of course, we will observe that 1 minute additional time at a minimum from the water break. But it will be France cruising their way to victory with 2 wins from 2 in Group A of the 2025 EPFA Nations Cup. They will also have, as it currently stands, a goal difference of plus 11. Radwan Boujaboud into Jonathan Detrier. One thing that's been fairly evident about Youssef Ayad Zadam is the reluctance to play in reverse, which is something he's probably going to want to start to work on and get proficient at within the context of this competition. I know he can do it, but there's just that tendency to drive onto the ball when there is a potential break on, which massively limits his options. As Detrier advanced up the court into Morgan Lafont. So unselfish is Morgan Lafont. Will always look to locate one of his teammates as opposed to going for goal himself. Nice touch there from Youssef Ayad Zadam. You saw Trives coming over to engage it. Had it gone towards the French goal occupied by Erwan Konk. Now a minute over the 40.
Can Spain grab a goal or a shot on target, something to make the fans who have sung all game have something to cheer about for one last time? Kick in for France, and that may well just be that.
Yeah,
they've kept the score down well in the second half. They've defended well, but France have rung the changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Whilst France have experimented, I still take a huge amount of positives from this Spanish performance. As we're going to get a late corner to be taken by Morgan Lafont, another who's so clinical with his distribution. Into the box, Radwan Boujaboud angles his chair nicely. And Jonathan Detrier blindsided as to the ball's placement, out for a Spain ball. And surely a matter of seconds as our referee glances at his watch. One last chance maybe for France. Gro Garcia didn't have the greatest positioning, so it could have ricocheted off of his chair goal bound, but fortunately for himself and Radwan Boujaboud, nothing more than a Spain goal kick. Beautiful pick off there from Marcos Trives.
That was very nice. Great pick off, and he's got them up the court with a kick in.
It's all about moments, finding the success. Boujaboud into Youssef Ayad Zadam, and that is full time. Spain 0, France 7. France underline their dominance. A second half performance that was just as impressive as the first. They experimented heavily after the break, giving minutes to every player in the squad, yet the quality never dipped. Morgan Lafont made it 6 with a sharp finish. Erwan Konk added the 7th. And once again, Aurélien Filatre, for me, the standout. His distribution, his vision and control set the tone throughout. For Spain, this was always going to be their toughest opponent in the group stage. They were overpowered by the world champions, but they will take positives into their remaining group games. They stayed committed, they kept their discipline, and gained invaluable experience against the very best. Their Nations Cup journey is just beginning.
Yeah, you can't really say anything more than that, can you? Spain were always going to be the underdogs in this game. It was always going to be difficult facing the world champions. but they kept going. Yes, France wrong the changes, but Spain carried on, did not give up. They showed great defensive determination at times to keep the score down, because we know goal difference is going to be important at some point. And their fans deserve the applause for keeping the spirits high. For France, 2 wins from 2, 12 goals scored, just a 1 conceded. Perfect start, really.
So I think we're going to pass over to Piero Guerrero Longo, who looks as if he's gathering both Brian Weiss of France and Samuel Grau Garcia of Spain to assess the game. We'll be back on commentary for the Republic of Ireland versus Denmark.
Here we go. You are Mr.
Brian.
Weiss? Or
Yes.
Brian Weiss. Yes. Hello and welcome. We are here with number 8, Mr. Brian Weiss from France. So, another great match. Congratulations.
Thank
How
you.
do you feel?
It was a great performance. We feel very good. Great win and great performance. We played very well. All the players played a beautiful football. So we feel
Spain was fighting very hard to
Yes.
stop you guys. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't, but they were fighting hard. So how do you think about Spain performance?
I think Spain is very young in the sport. Spain have great potential. They have a lot of good players, and in the future,
will do well.
I hope.
Absolutely,
they have,
absolutely. Thank you very much for being here, and good luck for the next matches.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to Brian. Now we will have, I guess, the captain of Spain coming to have a chat with us. Señor Samuel Grau Garcia with us. Am I correct?
Yes, you're right.
Great.
Here it's okay?
Yes, that's
Okay.
awesome. I'll just have to come closer
Okay.
to you.
Like this?
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, Samuel. What a match. You guys were fighting very hard against this team. They are
Yes.
very strong, but you were fighting very, very hard. So what do you think?
Yeah, we know that was a very tough game against the best team in the world, I think, in my opinion. Double champion of world. So we know we're gonna have a very tough game. We try our best for try to improve from our game and try to do better. But now a little bit sad for the results. But we think this game gonna help us to improve and to be better in the next games.
Sounds great. Sounds great. I think you really were fighting. The first game is always the toughest as well, especially against France. But I'm pretty sure you guys learn from this and you'll do great. The tournament is still long.
Exactly.
So-
It's the first game. When I would say when you win, it's fine, but when you lose, you learn. So I hope so. We can learn a lot of this game against the best team in the world, and I hopefully, and I'm sure, the next game we're gonna do better.
That's the approach. That's great. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very
And
much.
Have a great one. Take a good rest.
Thank you.
Thanks. Let's thanks also our captain Samuel Garcia, and I will see you very soon to the next match.